So we've been asked to find, the first part is to find the average value, and that should be totally doable without a calculator. If I'm going to find the average value, we're putting that into our formula. So I'm going to have 1 over 2 minus 0 times the integral from 0 to 2 of 2x over 1 plus x squared dx. Now I mentioned before that almost always the first thing I'm looking for is a u substitution. I'm going to look at that and say algebra, trig, or a mixture of stuff. Well, it's just an algebra problem. So if there was some magic way to write that as x's raised to powers, I would, but this is way more complicated. I am going to think about that u substitution, and I'm thinking about, is the derivative of one part of this also somewhere in our equation? And it is. The derivative of 1 plus x squared is equal to 2x. If I let u be equal to 1 plus x squared, then our du is 2x dx, and I have the dx, and I have the 2. Now I have to make sure that we switch our limits of integration. When x equals 0, u would be equal to 1 plus 0 squared, or 1. And when x is equal to 2, u would be equal to 1 plus 2 squared, or 5. When I write this in terms of our u, that will leave me with 1/2 the integral from, and I have to keep them in the same order, so 0 goes with 1, and the 2 turns into 5, of 1 over u squared du. I'll look at that and say, is it algebra, trig, or a mixture of stuff? It's just, I'm sorry about that little dinging. I don't know if other people hear that. I also don't know how to make it stop. This is just algebra, which means I'm going to look at that and think about that as u to the -2, because I can make that look like a number times x to a power. Add 1 to the exponent, divide by the new exponent. If I add 1 to the exponent, I'll have u to the -1. And then dividing by the -1 will make it negative. So I'm going to write that as -1 over u, and we're going from 1 to 5. So I'd have 1/2 of -1/5 minus -1 over 1. We could clean that up if we wanted to. That minus a minus would make that plus, and -1/5 plus 1 would be a positive 4/5. So that would be 1/2 times 4/5, or it looks like 2/5.